Hey friends, welcome back to another speed build. Today I am building a community lot here in Oasis Springs, and this one is based off a lot in The Sims 2 Strangetown. I believe the lot name is 88 Road to Nowhere, and it's basically like a few different buildings on one large lot. So there's like the original has a like retail store, a grocery store, video game store, and like a weird pool thing. So I do switch it up as far as, like what uses these buildings will have. But overall, the layout and all of that is still pretty similar. So the building I'm working on right now, it is originally a retail store on the first level, and then the upstairs just had like a bunch of desks kind of lined up. In this one, I decided to make it like a small library. I thought that might be a little bit more useful. And I decided to go a little bit more industrial with the look of this building. Use those windows from, I think those ones, I can't remember if those are the base game ones or the Moschino ones. I end up using both. But yeah, those looked great. I used the stairs and railing and I think the matching fence, all from Get to Work. That worked out really nicely. And then originally, I'm pretty sure this like back patio was supposed to be like a loading dock, because there was also a really big parking lot in the original. The lot was quite a bit bigger than the one that I'm using. So I don't really do the parking lot. There's not quite enough space. And it's just kind of like a waste of space since there aren't cars in The Sims 4. And the second building that I'm working on right now, it is kind of styled like a chapel. And the original, they were using it like a video game store. They had these items in The Sims 2. There was like a big, almost like a bookshelf sort of looking thing, but it had, like physical video games on it that you could buy, which was pretty cool. I can't really do that in The Sims 4. Like, I guess I could have made it a retail store and sold like video game consoles or computers or something, but I decided to just make it into a cafe. So I go through all the requirements for the different types of buildings that I'm making to make sure, if you want to switch it to a library, if you want to switch it to a cafe, you can do that, and it'll work perfectly fine. And I thought this cafe turned out pretty nice, pretty cozy. It's a little bit older styled than maybe some of the other buildings, but I think it works well. And then this third building, I decided to make it into an actual restaurant, like in Dine Out. The original, for some reason, they had it as a grocery store. I can't remember. Maybe you couldn't do restaurants in the base game. That would probably make sense. But yeah, a grocery store feels so random because it was styled like a 50s diner. So I wanted to, bring that sort of look through. Unfortunately, we don't have great like wallpapers and roof textures and things to really sell that. But hopefully, it looks like a diner. But yeah, it's fully functional. You can use it as a diner. I had it set as a restaurant when I was like testing it and taking screenshots and stuff, and tons of people were on the lot, so that was really nice. And the larger windows that I use on this are from Get Famous. They aren't exactly what I wanted. I would love that shape, but just like a full solid pane of glass. If it does exist, I couldn't find one. Like there's the Snowy Escape one that's pretty close, but it's a bit more, or it's a bit taller, so it didn't quite work how I wanted it to. And this last building that I'm doing, the original was really weird. It, like, you walked in and then there was, I think, like a basement level that was open from above that had like the world's narrowest pool. Like, I think it was only like 2 or 3 tiles wide. And yeah, very strange. So instead I decided to make this a gym. So the first level will have like regular gym equipment, and then I created the basement levels to do the pool, because I wanted to kind of have a similar look as the original. where when you go down 1 story, you can look through and see the pool. So it's actually like 2 basement levels. So I thought that was, kind of interesting. I didn't really do much furnishing on those levels besides lighting. Also, I'm sorry if you're hearing the world's loudest vehicles driving by. I guess there's like 0 insulation in my walls because it's so loud. So I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna try to pause when loud vehicles are going by, but I might miss some. But yeah, so this gym, I used, again, a lot of I believe these are the Moschino ones, the windows. Those worked out great. I really liked the kind of industrial look. And it had this super interesting roof with like 5 different roof pieces. So I added a bunch of windows to that to let in some light, and I'll eventually remove the ceiling in there so it's all kind of open. And then the original had the restrooms kind of like outside for really the whole lot, really. So I do keep that, but I do add more of them, which you'll see a little bit later. And now I'm starting to furnish all of the different buildings. So here in the library, I end up using a lot of the Book Nook kit items. I'm kind of obsessed with that kit right now, so apologies if you don't have it, and every single one of my builds has stuff from that kit in it. I apologize. But yeah, so it's pretty simple. There's not a ton of stuff in here. I create this little like reception desk. I do put a computer on there, but I move the chair away from the desk, so hopefully Sims won't, they shouldn't autonomously use that desk. Just really more for the aesthetics. And then I used these chairs from the, is it Modern Luxe kit? I thought those were great in here. I imagine maybe this building has been, renovated and updated a bit since it was, originally built, even from maybe the Sims 2 version. That's kind of my headcanon. Like, this lot has existed for a while, and it's, undergone some changes recently. And then this upstairs area was very strange in the original. It just had like 4 or 5 desks all facing the same way. They didn't have like computers or anything on them. So I wanted to, make the space more usable. So I used these smaller desks from Growing Together, I believe, with some computers. I also add in the archival machine from University, along with the debate item. So you can, come here and practice stuff if you need to. And I thought the library turned out really cute, so very happy with that. And then here is the cafe again, just doing the furnishings. Pretty simple. There's not a ton of space in here, and I didn't want it to be super crowded. So I just added in some kind of the bar height tables and chairs. So you could also easily turn this into a pub if you just replace the cafe counter thing with like a bar. I think that would, be really cool too, especially in like an old chapel. That'd be a pretty cool place for a bar. I will say the only issue that I really found when testing it is, since I had it set to a restaurant, the host was seating people at these tables in the cafe, which is a little bit odd. So if you don't want that to happen and you want to use it as a restaurant, maybe delete these tables or, move the chairs away from the table so they don't actually use them. Maybe do it as like a bar counter or something. That could be, that could work. But yeah, so I just added in some kind of small appliances, like a little mini fridge and a mixing stand so they can, do all their baking. And now I'm over at the restaurant, kind of figuring out the layout for this. I use, the stove thing that came with Dine Out, and I wanted to really bring that sort of 50s diner aesthetic through. So yeah, I do a big long counter. This will change a bit here in a minute. The only thing I was really struggling with is it's not a very wide building, so I couldn't really do the kitchen and the counters plus tables like against the windows. At first I was going to try to do like more bar, like a window bar with seats, but that was just feeling like a lot of those seats. So instead I kind of adjust the size of I bump out where the entrance is, and just kind of make the kitchen a little bit bigger and fill up that space. And then I use the booth items that came with Dine Out, which are fine. I still feel like these are way too big. I really wish they had come with like a 2-seater booth item, I think that would have made a lot more sense. And when I was testing it as a restaurant, no one was being seated at the booths, so that might be broken. So I might just replace those with like regular tables and chairs. And then there was this kind of awkward space, so I just turned it into a bathroom with like the longest single toilet stall you've ever seen. Because otherwise it was just kind of a waste of space, so thought I may as well just use it for the toilet. So there are, 2 more toilets in here, which is nice. More bathrooms for your Sims. And then I had to use I think that's a base game item, the little like condiment holder with the menus. That fit in perfect in here. And then just some like, Americana sort of decor items. And I really wish in Dine Out you could select which seats you wanted Sims to be able to be sat at. I think that would make a lot more sense. Maybe similar to the retail system, how you mark which items are for sale. You can just like mark which tables and chairs people are allowed to sit at. That would be a really nice improvement for that pack. But yeah, so I'm just here in the kitchen, and I know you don't really have to, add all of this stuff, but it just makes it feel more realistic that you would have, refrigerators and a sink and dishwasher and everything. And then I just add a bunch of those small appliances that came with the new stuff pack. I thought that made sense. And then I added in an employee entrance or exit here at the back through the kitchen, using the same stairs and railing and all of that. And then I'm going to add in basically like a dumpster area for the diner, which I actually really like how this ends up turning out. So first I was trying to kind of hide it away, which it's still fairly, I guess, hidden or whatever by the end. But then I was like, well, people, if like a dump truck was coming to pick up the dumpster, they would need easier access. So I ended up adding in a gate to the other side, like on the street side. Obviously, it doesn't matter. It's all just pretend in The Sims, but I wanted it to be a little bit more, realistic. So at first I was going to do a fence, but I don't know. I wasn't really liking how it looked, especially with this gate. This was like the only gate I could find that was, realistically wide enough for a dump truck to like back into. And none of the fences were looking very good with it, so I decided to just do a half wall with the stone and then some columns for the roof. And I thought that worked out nicely. I think I was originally going to use the columns from Horse Ranch to match the gate, but then I think the werewolf column actually, I don't know, it tied it in a little bit better. So yeah. So now I'm just kind of adjusting the ceiling for the like gym area. And overall, the gym is fairly basic. I added in some treadmills over here, and then I do add in a couple of climbing walls. And I cut it out of the kind of speed build, but I did check to make sure that it would actually fit in the kind of pitched roof area. So it's actually pretty cool if you like look at it from inside. It just kind of fits in there nicely. But yeah, so fairly basic here, and then I just added in some decorations. I really liked that kind of silhouetted mountain, I don't know, decal from, I believe that was from Snowy Escape. Thought that, looked really nice in here. And then I thought I would add in some different like sports memorabilia, and I added in that honestly really great framed picture like map thing from, oh god, I think it's from the fitness stuff pack, which I don't really use that often, but that item's really great. I don't know if it's really worth the $10 to buy that pack, but yeah, I thought it would make sense here in a gym. And then down in this pool area, like I said, I didn't add too much to what was going on down here. I'm basically just adjusting all the lighting. I kept the really big ones because it didn't really matter. And then I just added in like a ladder and a diving platform. And I did test it to make sure, Sims could get down there and swim around and all of that. So that worked out fine. And yeah, just adding in some lights to the actual inside of the pool. And I always like to paint the outside of the basement. I know it doesn't really matter, but it just makes it feel a little bit more real. I don't know. And then I'm going to move outside. I add in just a small basketball hoop area. I really wanted to fit in a full-size court, but there wasn't quite enough room. I could have moved the gym over, but then it was like really close to the restaurant, and I don't know. It wasn't really working for me, so just do a half court. I think that's, that'll work perfectly fine for your Sims. And then here I am adding in more bathrooms. So instead of just the 2 that they had, I added in 2 more, so there's 4 total, all with showers, toilet, sink, all of that. So that'll be easier for all of the Sims to use while they're on the lot. So then after finishing this lot, I was originally planning on just doing one more lot from Strangetown. It's like a house that is it's unoccupied when you start the game. That's kind of like a little bit of a bunker. I don't know. It's very strange in The Sims 2, so I'll have to see how to kind of interpret it for The Sims 4. But I might also do. So I built a house for the Grunt family, and in The Sims 2, there's like an unoccupied, almost like mirrored version of their house. So I might also do that one and then just kind of decorate it differently. I'll have to see. But I'm also debating if I want to do the like renovate the houses that came with The Sims 4, like Johnny Zest's like trailer, maybe the Calientes. Although I built their house from The Sims 2 in Willow Creek, so probably not them. But yeah, if you have any thoughts, let me know. I would love to hear them. Otherwise, I might wrap up Strangetown pretty soon and then move over to Veronaville from The Sims 2, which is also a very interesting world. And I was kind of talking through it, but you saw me do most of the landscaping for the lot. Again, like the other ones that I've done, I kept it very deserty, which I've actually been really enjoying. It's certainly a lot simpler to landscape. There's only a few items you can really use that would make sense. So that's been kind of nice, kind of taking out a lot of the choices there. And then here I skipped ahead a little bit. I pulled out a whole bunch of different kind of outdoor planters and things that I wanted to use around the lot. So added in some of those. And I also added in a grilling area, which, wouldn't really make sense in real life. I doubt that they would allow that when there's, a restaurant and a cafe already close by. But I thought that would make more sense for, for The Sims, especially if you're using this as a library or a gym lot type. That will be easier for your Sims to make food and all of that. So I wanted to make sure I had that in there. And then I also added a garbage can to the roof of the library because the original version had a garbage can up there, even though there's no access to the roof. So I don't know if they were like trying to make it look like a chimney or something like that, but very strange. So I thought I would just add that in there too. And now I'm just going through and doing the lighting for the lot. I wanted to try to make the different buildings feel a little bit different. So I used, a little bit older lights in the cafe. I imagine maybe that building hasn't been as, updated. Here in the gym, I tried to make sure that the little saucer lights that I'm using would be on the beam part of the roof, since it's technically, there's no ceiling, it's just open to the roof. So I tried to line that up. And then, yeah, like the library has more modern lighting. I imagine it's, been updated. And then for the exterior lighting, I started with these kind of lampposts from Base Game. And then I found some that I really liked from Romantic Garden stuff, but it didn't really make sense to just have one item from that pack. So I do swap those out. And then, yeah, that will pretty much wrap it up here in a minute. I'll leave you with some screenshots at the end. But I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch today. I know there's a million things you could be doing, so I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thanks so much. Have a great day.